Good evening and welcome to the Full-Time Reds. It's me, Gav, and it's Kev alongside me tonight. Liverpool 2, Leicester City 0 at Anfield tonight. And Liverpool closed the gap again on Manchester City. Before we go on though, make sure if you're in here and you're watching, you're very, very welcome. If you're new to this, make sure you hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. Share it around your social media. And most of all, put your comments in there and we'll try me out or read out as many as we possibly can. Kev, we done the BetMate team last night for the free pot, Liverpool v Leicester.
Hold on, let's do this wee stuff now.
No, we didn't. The chat
we
did.
Didn't. The chat did.
Okay, so you're laying down your marker very early here. Final results in the winning. They paid out on about 6 or 7 people in it, but the winning amount of points was 72.5. We came in with 55.5. So we're 17 points off. They didn't do too badly, the chat, Kev. They didn't do too badly.
Okay.
We're going to lay it at the door of one of us on our own for the next game, aren't we?
Yes, 100%. Because there was 2 players in what the chat picked last night that let us down, and we had chances. Let's put it this way: we had chances to top that. But it was a great bit of fun. It was a great bit of fun to keep the game interesting as well as what we were watching. So
exactly.
Hopefully next time we do it, we'll do it for a neutral game.
Yeah. Well, some of them that do come up with blocks of games and stuff. So we'll definitely have a go at that. So check it out. With BetMate, it was a good bit of crack, and Chris kept an eye on it for us for tonight, and we'll do it again very, very soon. But Kev, Liverpool 2. Leicester City 0. As I said, Liverpool have closed the gap on Man City. Comments are absolutely flying in here. There's we're about a minute old here, and there's over 100 people watching already. There's 37 likes. The reclaimer will be along in a minute to make sure that goes to 100 or 200, and we'll get very upset if it fucking doesn't. Right. But Michael Carney says, first time in the chat. Long time listener, love the show, lads. Sharing in my WhatsApp with the lads. Keep it up. Nice one, Michael. That's what you want to do. That's exactly what you want to do. But let's look at the lineup, because we tried hard to predict this.
We got close, I think.
Yeah, I have got the prediction that I done earlier somewhere. I don't know how close I got to it, but he goes with Alisson, Trent. He goes with Matip and Van Dijk, Robertson. He goes with Fabinho, Thiago. Jones was probably the surprise, and then he goes with Luis Diaz, Firmino, Jota. Salah goes on the bench, and were you happy enough for it? Because I was. It didn't really matter to me who played. We have the strength there, and they can all play. So I wasn't really bothered by it.
Just seen Reclaimers comment there. Kev's dropping the chat like a hot stone.
Yeah.
Well,
Kev's
you guys
nothing to do with them.
Nothing to do with you whatsoever after that. Dismal effort of 18th. 18th! You can do better next time. I've got faith in you. You can recover well. Yeah. But Curtis Jones was a surprise. No doubt about it. I don't think any of the lineups that any of us picked had Curtis Jones in it. But I was happy enough with the lineup, because I looked at the Leicester one, and bar the threat of pace in behind, I thought they didn't have much else. They didn't have. I didn't think they'd be able to put sustained pressure and sustained attacks on us.
Yeah.
So it would have been our mistakes that gave them a chance. And so as long as we were tidy on the ball, then we'd be fine.
Like, when you look at the game and how it pans out, like, that lineup is absolutely fine for me. Absolutely fine. You could see, he can make subs, and he does later on, and we'll talk about them in a bit. But it's absolutely. I've no issue whatsoever with it. The fact that Diaz plays, even though Jota and Firmino keep their place from Cardiff, Diaz just offers that little bit more. And in fairness, he was fucking everywhere tonight. He was all over the bleeding place. He was like a madman. But we start well. I think they have a few efforts early on, but after that, Kev, it just reverts to type, doesn't it? Where Liverpool have a lot of the ball, they have a lot of possession. They're passing around, they're trying to probe. They've the territory. They're all over Leicester, and the only thing that was going to stop us tonight was ourselves. I felt as the game wore on, because if we'd have got frustrated and got a bit fucking, start lamping balls in the box like we can do at times, we may have come unstuck. But I never really, at no stage tonight did I think we were dropping points. I genuinely didn't.
I was the same. I honestly thought, even at 1-0, I thought it's going to be a silly mistake if we let them in. They're not going to do anything off their own back. Diaz was one touch, give it. One touch, give it. He took on his fullback once, I think, in the first half, and cut a ball back, and it was unfortunate for him. It was Matip that was trying to get onto it, but he was very neat and tidy, learning the players. He's learning the system, and he's learning the runs that everyone makes. So for his first full start, he was very good. You know, without being a highlight, you know, I thought he was very good. I don't think anyone had a stinker or anything. I was happy enough with everyone's performance. Jota was levels though. He really was. I mean, we'll get onto the goals and stuff later, but the rotation between
someone in the chat there says Kevin Ball says he's 4 goals off Salah for the Golden Boot.
Yeah, he's 4 goals off him, and no, it's 6. I think it's 6. Well, that might be in all competitions, though. I'm not sure.
Kevin Ball says 4 goals off. And Kevin
they were saying in commentary 6. So we'll see. I mean, they tried everything towards the end to get more goal, but it was one of those nights. Once the first one went in, it was everyone settled down, and we got better then. You know, I was happy with it. Happy with the performance. I mean, I thought Thiago took his time to get into it. But once he got into it, he started expressing himself a bit better. His passing got better as the half went on.
Absolutely.
You know, but I was looking at Leicester and looking at Leicester's bench and thought, he's messed this up. You know, he didn't give himself the best chance to win a game. When I looked at their 11, their starting 11, and looked at their bench, I thought, you're leaving Harvey Barnes, Yuri Tillemans, Soyuncu, and Iñárritu on the bench, and you're playing kids, and you're playing players out of position.
That's probably the thing. That's the thing, Kev, because I done a show at 2:00. Like Centurion reckons, and Matip with a weaker performance on the night. Percy would have preferred Konate and Elliott. He'd probably do Konate against Burnley. I thought he would have done a Konate tonight and Matip against Burnley. He could do Matip again against Burnley. We don't know. The Elliott thing, he's just going to bring back in stages. You know, he gets 35. On Saturday, and he gets 30 tonight. He comes on with Salah, doesn't he, on the hour? So he's slowly building them back up. You might see him start one fairly soon. You know, that sort of way. Mo looked very sharp off the bench. His own Neil Diaz is a very, very good player, and there's plenty more to come from, says Barry Richards. We're going to get onto him, so I want to talk about him and a couple more in a bit of detail. But the control was there, Kev, and I thought we looked more threatening than we did against Cardiff. And what I mean by that is, like, I think Leicester have 2 shots in the first 10 minutes, I think. Maddison has one, I think. And there's another header, I think, from Samara. I think it's a header from him. It goes well wide. Anyway, but we have more control, Kev, and we looked a bit more threatening. And like you said, Luis Diaz wasn't running at defenders, and, you know, as you've seen in the YouTube clips, but he was very neat and tidy. Yeah. You know, knocking her off here, knocking her off there. And it was just, for me, it was just one of those where you could see they weren't panicked. Yeah. You know, if Luis Diaz is panicked in that game, he's thinking, I have to get it, and I have to fucking beat 2 men, and then you'll see Firmino thinks he has to do this. Thiago thinks he has to start doing mad stuff, but we didn't. We just kept it nice and, you know, controlled.
The difference, I think, between this and that first half in the Cardiff game was the link. The link between the attack and midfield was better.
Yeah, I fully
agree.
agree.
Or Jota. Bobby and Jota interlinked their positions. Jota may have been on the team sheet as wide right, but he didn't stay there very, very much. If he cut inside, Bobby dropped deeper and created the extra man and created the overloads. And that's where the improvement was tonight. Plus the fact that you had Jones and Thiago willing to lay balls off, make runs. The recoveries, if they lost possession, we recovered it really quick and really high out the pitch. I think Fabinho had 11 recoveries tonight and 7 interceptions in the game, and he was everywhere. You know, I mean, people can say Curtis was in and out. I thought Curtis was everywhere in the first half. He was really busy and trying to commit players and engage, and he wasn't taking pot shots from silly places tonight. He was working space and working the ball around. If there wasn't something on, they were coming out and going around the other side and looking for good chances rather than half chances. Maybe it was a case that they looked at Cardiff and thought, look, we'll beat them anyway.
Yeah.
It's a different kettle of fish when you're playing a side like Leicester, especially in the manner that they got beat by Forest. That you don't want to play silly buggers with sides that have got pace, and we didn't. We took it seriously.
You don't want yourself to fall behind, or be too gung ho, because you can control a game and you can territorially, possession wise, chances, but you need to be disciplined, and that's where Fabinho, for me, like, without throwing any shade or whatever at Jordan Henderson, but you see what Fabinho does. He's a specialist in it. Look, the amount of interceptions you're talking about. Henderson keeps it ticking over, but Fabinho just brings it for me. And it's no slight on Henderson, but I just think Fabinho is levels above most players in that position around world football.
Yes.
Let's not forget, Mem Create says, let's not forget Ali made a great save at the very beginning. If we conceded, it's the King Power all over again. That's from Maddison. That's the early one from
Madison.
Was
the snapshot, and he just palms it away out for a corner, doesn't he?
Yeah. But it is important that he makes that save, like, because you're right, Leicester could have
they could have reverted to a back five very easily.
Absolutely. But I agree with you on I was going to say earlier, at 2 o'clock today, we done a show and we were trying to predict the Liverpool side, right? And it came in from, I can't forget who put it in. It might have been Kevin Ball, actually. Put it in and said, here's the rumour lineup from Leicester. And I think he got it more or less spot on.
Yeah.
And I was like, is he really going to do that? And when I seen the side come out, I went, Jesus Christ, he is doing what was said earlier. And like you said, like, it's an ego thing.
Well,
I don't care what anyone says, Kev. You can have a go off players, but if you're going to have a go off them, tell them it's not good enough, you should give them the chance to redeem themselves, and not just give some of them a chance and not others. Yeah. And I think that could end up causing more of a split in the Leicester camp because of the way he's picked that team.
The fact that Kevin Ball, and it was all over social media, the fact that team sheet got leaked, to me, Rodgers has lost the dressing room already.
Yeah.
That never gets out. In tight dressing rooms where everyone is pulling in the same direction, that's someone with a bee in their bonnet, and they've leaked it to a mate who's leaked it out and it's gone onto the internet. That's shocking.
Yeah. Kevin Ball says it was the right team. It was leaked.
Yeah. That used to happen to us. That used to happen to us at the end of the Rodgers era when players were dissatisfied and shit got leaked out all the time. And we knew the team sheet hours before.
Yeah.
That shit shouldn't happen ever. And the fact that it's happening, to me, says Rodgers it's a ticking time bomb now waiting to go.
Because the players aren't going to go. It's probably leaked. It's probably being leaked by someone that played on Saturday or Sunday. Sorry, played on Sunday. Got an earful and didn't get picked tonight.
Yeah,
but some of the lads that played did get picked, and it doesn't make sense. Like, drop them all, or play them all. That's the way I would look at it. You know what I mean? Unless you're looking at players that wouldn't usually play that got a game on Sunday, but other players will come back. That's fine. But there's plenty of players I think that played on Sunday, Kev, that you'd expect under normal circumstances to play at Anfield tonight, and some of them were dropped and some of them weren't.
Yeah,
simple as that.
Exactly.
Let's talk about Diogo Jota, because I had a thing last night where I wanted them to play central because I felt we would dominate possession, territory. If they played either Daka or Iheanacho, which he went with Daka, he brings on Iheanacho later. But regardless of which one he went with there, they were going to rely on Maddison maybe picking up a ball and setting one free over the top. But Diogo Jota doesn't start off centrally, but he's in the right place at the right time. Good corner, great movement from Virgil and a good header. Schmeichel, can he do a bit better? He seems to be a bit weak in palming it out, although it's a good header, it's a good strong header. But he's just there and he doesn't even think. There's no even hesitation and he just bang, it's in the goal. It's barely come off Schmeichel's hands and it's in the net. He's just phenomenal.
BT showed a great angle of that from behind the goal.
Yeah.
And the turning shot was instinctive, but you watch Jota's movement in all the time. He doesn't move. He moves probably within about a 2 square meter from where he started to where he ended up.
Yeah, but he moves in.
And
But the thing,
it's just
you're
great
right what you're
movement.
saying. He picks a spot to move in, but he'll
Yeah,
do 2 or 3 different movements in that spot.
yeah,
You know, the classic one is Spurs away this season, the header, like from a Robertson cross. You see him go early, come back, go early, go forward, come back, and gets the header. But he doesn't move out of this, like you were saying, this 1 meter circle around him. But it's just a movement and catching defenders' eyes where they don't know where the fuck he's gone, even though
yeah.
he's not gone anywhere.
It was criminal defending as well. I mean, if you're going to zonal mark or man mark, you've got to commit. If you're going to man mark, you have to be very good. You have to be very good. And Virgil's movement for that goal,
Yeah.
he steps inside Madison, and
And then
Virgil's
he does a little strut
it's like a
again to
little
get by
dance.
someone else.
Yeah, I mean Virgil's 6'4", and he was as light on his feet as you'd see a featherweight.
Yeah.
He just danced in between them and got a great header off. The header deserved the goal, to be
Yeah.
fair. But the delivery was excellent, and the instinct to sniff out, to know where to be, that if it drops, it's going to drop it. Schmeichel, I think, couldn't do anything about it. I mean, the header was that good that any kind of contact that Schmeichel got on it, it was just going to be an instinct contact.
Yeah.
And it just happened to fall for Diogo, but that's no accident that he's in that spot.
Yeah.
And it was a lovely finish. We needed it. We deserved it at the time as well. We were good without really threatening. We had a couple of half chances, but nothing out of the ordinary. We didn't really. He wasn't playing out exceptionally well at that time. He didn't have to do anything exceptional, Casper Schmeichel, at that time.
Yeah.
He did later on.
Mm.
Later on, he made some really, really good saves.
It could have been 6 or 7.
Yeah,
and
definitely 4.
And you could argue, and we'll get to the second goal later, you could argue he's a bit poor for that. But other than that, he makes some really good saves.
Yeah, there was one from Bobby that they worked the space, and it was Bobby and Curtis going for the same ball. And Bobby had a snapshot,
Yeah.
and it was just good positioning by the keeper. It wasn't a bad shot, it was good positioning by the keeper. But you'd expect Bobby, I think, in fairness, Curtis was probably better positioned to come onto the ball. But you'd still expect Bobby to do a bit better with that.
Well, as a striker, he's going to get anyone out of his way to hit one.
Yeah.
We all go on about how Bobby is unselfish or a selfless player, I suppose.
Yeah.
But sometimes these chances just come and forwards are like, fuck that.
Realise, they said it in the commentaries, that's 14 months he's gone without a Premier League goal at Anfield.
Is it?
14 months.
Yeah, fucking hell. I didn't know that.
He's got all his league goals lately away from home. But yeah, I didn't know that either. But
yeah,
because of the amount of goals, the volume of goals that we're scoring, and in a good chunk part, because of the way he's playing and the space he creates for everyone else.
Yeah.
When he does play, it's almost like you almost forgive him.
It's like 18, 19, 19, 20. That's what it's like.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nuts.
Like I think 17, 18 he scores, I want to say something like 25, between 25 and 30 in all competitions, Firmino.
Yeah.
But over time, it's one of those where he does facilitate, and he probably should get more goals before anybody else comes along and goes, well, he just doesn't get enough. Probably should get more. But I think he's still a brilliant part of the squad. Gareth Cambridge mentioned something here, and I want to, before moving on from the goal, we might as well talk about it. He says Virgil was as chilled as a man after his Christmas dinner watching Only Fools and Horses. And a couple in our WhatsApp group have said it tonight. Shawnee said it. Looks back to his best after. And fairness, Shawnee has been one that said to me, he just doesn't look 100%. He just looks a bit laboured, a bit hesitant at times. But I thought against Cardiff he was excellent. And again tonight, Kev, nothing was getting by him. It was just like he was floating around, doing what he felt, doing whatever he felt like doing.
The focus for Leicester in the first half, strangely, their goal kicks, everything came down his side in the first half. That was weird. They went, I suppose there was a method to it that Schmeichel dropped their goal kicks that little bit short. They targeted Robertson and Diaz to see if they could create a mix-up and maybe draw Virgil out. But the second half, everything went down Joel Matip's side, and they steered clear of Virgil in the second half completely. They didn't do anything down our left-hand side in the second half. Everything was down the right. And Virgil was very good. And I thought Joel Matip was very good as well tonight. The two of them, even when they swapped over, there was a part in the game in the second half where they swapped over, and they just looked as comfortable on each other's side. It was some of Joel Matip's anticipation runs. Virgil's playing players to go offside. So, like, if you want to go and run there and go offside, go on, I'll let you. But there's plenty of room there if you want to run into it. That could be my guess type of thing.
Yeah,
that's confidence in your ability.
Virgil will chase you down. Chris Brack says Martinelli off Arsenal sent off for 2 yellows in 20 seconds tonight. Fouls a ref. Fouls didn't foul a ref. Sorry, that's wrong. Fouls a player. Ref plays advantage, and 20 seconds later he fouls another fella. So he obviously was getting a yellow for the tackle.
He's getting a yellow for the first one,
and the advantage played on. He just goes and fouls another fella. Sent off. So there's one there. If there's a bit of
that's enough. That's one. That's a quiz question.
What about Matip tonight? Says Anthony Gav. Class act for free madness considering Harry Slabhead Maguire cost 80 million. I thought Matip was okay. I didn't think he was exceptional.
Go on, sorry.
I didn't think he was exceptional. I didn't think he was bad. I just thought he was solid. And I think, and in fairness, I think Curtis Jones was solid. Yeah. But where he's playing on the pitch and what we're looking for that particular area of the pitch to do, solid comes off a little bit sometimes as not good. Do you get me? Like, I think if he played on the left of those three and was solid, you go, controlling it, he's solid, fine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But, yeah, just solid from Matip. And I take Matip being solid and Virgil just being solid all season. Because it means you're not going to concede many goals.
Yeah, the only thing that annoys me, and it's really been annoying me now for the last few months with Joel Matip, pass it with intensity. Just when you
fizz it in rather than
give it some. Don't give a player a chance to sniff it out. His passing it's accurate.
William Henry feels that his passing was off. Or Allison said there was a couple of loose ones right up to the end. He hits a loose one to Van Dijk not across the box, but across our back line, and I think Ian Acho gets onto it.
It's just
and you can
soft.
You can see Van Dijk looking at him going, "What the fuck are you doing?"
Yeah.
But look,
and he's capable of fizzing it as well. That's the one thing I like about Konate over Joel Matip. And look, I love Joel Matip. I absolutely love him. I think he's a brilliant player. It's just if there was one thing in his game I'd love to improve is just that. Everything else, brilliant.
Andy Kaufman says Curtis solid. Hot take that, Gav. Well, what do you want me to say about him? What do you want me to do? It's not the sort of performance where you rave about him, and it's not the sort of performance where you put him down. He was just a solid enough performance.
Yeah.
He got whatever amount of time. He come off the pitch, 60 minutes. He come off. That's it. Yeah. It's not a hot take. It's just, you look at it. You don't have to rave. You see, you don't have to rave about someone every performance, and you don't have to give out about someone every performance. You just go, done all right, 60 minutes, came off. Harvey Elliott, come on. There's no, it's not even probably worth talking about, and that's why I said solid, because it's not really a conversation piece.
Yeah, it's the same with Harvey. He came on for the last 35 minutes, did what he needed to do, got the minutes under his belt, didn't do anything special. Yeah. He just gave it, got it, passed it simple.
Yeah,
made a run when he needed.
One or two nice touches to Salah, in fairness.
Yeah. But in general,
solid
that's what
enough.
You expect.
Yeah,
that's what
happy
you expect.
With that 40 minutes. Yeah. Yours feels that Curtis Jones is a bit complacent at times, holds on to it too long. I do agree on that. I think he needs to. One thing I will say about Curtis Jones is he has all the ability to go by people, run with it, move. He has an eye for a pass. It's one of those. But he sometimes I do feel that he just looks a bit laboured on it, and I do get that. I absolutely get
the extra
that.
touch.
Yeah,
when a quick pass is needed, but that'll come with experience as well.
Yeah, and someone probably just needs to say it to him. Bang it, get rid of it quicker and make us more space. 322 watching, 138 likes. If you don't get the 200, Reclaimer will lose the bleeding will to live.
Yeah, we
so
don't
keep
need that
keep hitting the like button. We're now or on the way in, now or on the way out, whatever you want to do, but just make sure you hit it on the way out. So it's 1-0 at half time.
Yeah.
I'm in no way fussed about Leicester. Because all I kept thinking was the fellas that they're going to bring on are the fellas he's dropped, and how much of a shit are they going to give about this? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think again the second half for me was just Yeah, well,
it was like, yeah,
I just felt like it's a late goal we get, but I just felt during the second half, it's just one of those where will come, it'll come.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't, we win 1-0. That's how I felt.
They came into it a bit in the second half, but it was almost a case of, look, they can have the ball there. They're not going to get much change out of anything that they can attack us with. And they didn't. They got a few corners and they had a couple of snapshots, but in general, it was very controlled by us. You know, not a case of, look, have the ball and keep them at arm's length. It wasn't that kind of possession, but they weren't threatening. It was very un-Leicester-like. I mean, we've all seen Leicester play when they can get at sides, and they can be very, very good on the ball and very good on the eye as well.
Yeah.
But so it's not right. There's a lot wrong with that club. And the way they're playing at the minute, it's just so unlike some of the players that are there.
Yeah.
I thought that Dewsbury Hall did well.
He's a good player.
Yeah, Thomas was okay as well.
Yeah, he done quite well as well, I thought. I like Dewsbury Hall. He's a good player. You can see it in him. Yeah. He's a good player.
I think Lookman sent Trent for his dinner once or twice. You know, but in general, when he did nothing with it. You know, and look, that was always Ademola Lookman's thing. He's very good on the ball, but his decision making has always been a bit of a problem. And when you got Harvey Barnes sat on the bench, that's why I'm saying there's something not right there. Because Harvey Barnes is a far superior player. You know, and it looks to me as though there's 2 or 3 there that know they're going in the summer or have made noises that they want out.
Yeah.
And there'll be plenty of takers for those 2 players especially. Harvey Barnes and Yuri Tillemans will have choices this summer.
Harvey Barnes only signed a new deal last summer, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think he's...
But again, if they keep going down the route of fucking calling fellas out after games, he's every right in his agent to go, listen, I'm being fucking slaughtered here.
Does anyone in the chat...
You're lowering his value. Chris said it last night. If you keep doing this, you're lowering players' values. They're not going to come in and give you what you want. They're going to come in and give what they feel is okay now. And that'll be less than...
I was just going to ask people in the chat, has anyone seen the post-match interviews? And was there anything said in those? If there was, because
we didn't see a thing.
Yeah, we didn't see anything.
It literally finished and we came on, yeah. So I'm sure if anyone's seen it, they can let us know and we can have a little discussion about it. I thought we upped the tempo a little bit again in the second half. I think, probably there's a couple of we've corners, we've different things going on. And you're kind of, I got the feeling about 10 minutes into the second half, we were building towards getting a second here. That's what I kind of felt. We were starting to put a bit more pressure on them.
Diaz had one chance early in the second half. We kept possession for a good while and then worked it down the left. Thought Robertson and Diaz link-up play was very good.
Yeah. We do I'm just looking through the highlights of the game here now. 48 minutes, Jota has a strike across the face and Schmeichel saves it.
That was a cross shot, wasn't it?
Yeah, Maddison has a free deflection off of Marte then, wasn't there? Yeah, that Schmeichel saves. Diaz cuts in and tries a shot, but you could see the
second was coming.
Yeah, that's what you felt like. I wanted to make sure I got the timeline right because it is between say 50 and 60 minutes. You can see Van Dijk wins a corner from Robertson's or wins a header from Robertson's corner as well.
Use is a great comment there, Gav. Use is a great comment there.
Yeah, hold on there. There you go. Bosh. Okay, so I saw the interviews. Klopp said something like, hit the like button on the LFC Daytrippers. Was quite surprised by that, to be fair. Listen, he owes us a few quid. You're bang on. You're bang on. Do you know what? I didn't even read that before I put it up on the screen. So there you go. Clanker says, finally, usually a podcast is not finally getting the chance to watch live. Love you guys. Phil is a bit of a nut though. Listen, come here and I tell you. If you don't understand Phil by now, what do you want me to do? I'm looking back because somebody did say that they usually listen on the podcast as well. But if they're watching live tonight, it gets them through a 12-hour shift and I can't see the bloody name of it now. And I keep going, Paul Jenkins. Followed since the start of the channel, but never listened live. Podcast get me through the 12-hour shift on the taxi. Best channel by far. So I'm glad it gets you through. So hire it up when people are in the taxi. When they ask you what it is, just say, don't be listening to them, they're spaz. Klopp asked that Diaz looked like a Liverpool player. He said, yes, we looked at him in training and gave him some clips of how he played, and he came in and did well, or words to that effect, says Rory Fitzgerald.
Yeah.
But you did feel like the second one was coming. And I wasn't worried when their subs come on. I was delighted to see. I'm really happy, Kev, with these subs on an hour. We're not making until 70, 75, 80. We're making decisions and double subs on an hour, and I'm really into it. Because, you know, Elliott and Salah, you know, I think it's Diaz and Elliott come on after 55 against Cardiff. Isn't it today? It's Elliott and Salah on the hour for Jones and...
But I think they're dual-purpose subs.
Firmino. Yeah, but it was interesting them two coming on together, wasn't it? Because that's where you want to see that link up down that right-hand side with Trent. But great to see Elliott getting back on again. Salah gets a big reception coming back. And, Jesus, he was in the game, Salah.
It was alive. It just came alive. And there was that one bit of play. Well, there was a few bits with Mo in the link-up play. There was a little turn and pirouette that he did to get a shot off out of nothing. And Schmeichel did well to get his body across and save it. Mm-hmm. But the whip shot that rattled the crossbar. It was just... And they showed the angle from behind the goal. And you could have put Schmeichel and his dad there, and they just weren't getting it.
Yeah.
It deserved the goal. It was almost the case that the spin that Salah got on the ball, it needed a little bit of overspin on it just to bring it down. But from that, then I think Diaz had a chance on the volley, and there was there was three chances off the back of that one.
Yeah, no, that comes off the back of it, doesn't it? When it hits the bar, and then
it comes out to Diaz. Yeah. Diaz has a shot and does a save.
Yeah,
and from then on, it was just a case of right, it's coming. Something's definitely coming because
Salah didn't look tired, didn't he? No, there was a freedom there that they were playing with and a confidence.
Yeah, they just knew.
You could see the link up between him and Elliott straight away, though.
Straight away, as if you know,
as if neither of them had gone away, like.
Yeah, and you could see they weren't talking to each other. It was like, you go there, I'll knock it back to you. Knock it out to Trent. You go there, I'll go here. It was choreography. You know, it was choreography. It was as if you were watching Strictly Come Dancing with the way they were moving.
Answer me this.
So much more to come with that.
Henrik says, and he said this earlier, but I marked it up for now. How come Salah didn't get a pen? He was clearly fouled from behind after a shot saved. Just because he got his shot away before he was taken down doesn't change that it was a pen, right?
I thought it was a pen. I said it to Chris in WhatsApp. That's a pen all day long. It was that late that two buses came. I mean, if that was anywhere else on the pitch, say that's Maddison, and he plays a pass out into the wing, and Fabinho comes late into the back of him and takes and cleans him out.
Yeah,
that's a foul. That's a free kick, and it's a booking.
Yeah,
the fact that Salah got a shot off is irrelevant. To me, it was a case. It reminded me a lot of the Van Dijk injury. Just because the ball was out of play doesn't make a blind bit of difference. That's a foul.
Yeah.
You know, it was...
Kevin Ballfield's
it was
a clear penalty.
I honestly thought... I couldn't for the life of me... The fact that he got a shot off, to me, is irrelevant. Because that was so late.
Yeah.
And that could have ended a lot worse.
Yeah. Richard reckons Salah should have had a brace himself. Chris Brack thinks that Salah had the second most shots in the game. He's only on for 30 minutes. Jonathan says Arsenal were celebrating their win tonight like they'd won the Champions League. Well, that's what they are now.
I think that's their first... Tonight was their first goal in 4.
Yeah, well, there you go.
So...
Let me see. It was a pen, full stop, says Gus. Let me see. Defo a pen. Ref was flaky as well. Yeah, I thought he did give it Leicester quite a lot. And Leicester were trying to go down. They do this, though. Leicester drop very fucking quickly. But Cav Oldham says here, and if this is true, fuck me. He says, Brendan just said Leicester will address the set-piece problem in the summer by getting better profile of player. Imagine being a centre-back at that club.
Well, if you're Soyuncu, you know you're finished at Leicester. If you're Vestergaard, you're finished at Leicester.
He's picked 2 midfielders as centre-half tonight.
Yeah.
And he's telling you he's going to sign
and not just 2 midfielders.
But this makes no sense, Kev.
Indeed, he is a top-tier holding mid.
Yeah, and he plays him at centre-back.
Yeah, that's shocking, like.
Well, if you want to... he's played 2 midfielders tonight, and then has got if he's made that comment saying he will buy a better profile player to sort out the set piece problem in the summer. I don't know where you go. I don't know where you go with that. That's actually pathetic.
That's
so
not.
What he's done is he's gone out there tonight. He's gone out there tonight, and he's picked. He has centre backs available to him, and he's picked 2 midfielders to play at centre back, and then moans about the set piece problem, and we'll just sign somebody better. How did the 2 midfielders feel? How did the 2 midfielders feel having to play at the fucking back now, and then he comes out with that stuff, and they're probably looking, going, well, why am I fucking playing there? You've 2 fellas there that can play centre back, and we can go in and play in midfield, and you won't do it.
And not just, I mean, Soyuncu, fair enough. Vestergaard is a big unit of a centre half.
Big, yeah, he's huge, yeah.
And in fairness, if he's not being selected, you were saying there, and I said it to you in the comments, when that he was Rodgers' player and Rodgers picked him and what have you. And Rodgers panicked. In the summer, they had horrendous injury problems at the back, and they had to buy someone. And it just so happens he became available, so they signed him. I don't believe for a second that he targeted Vestergaard. I think he became available and they brought him in. Because
but Ney says they had Vestergaard and Soyuncu on the bench.
They did.
He plays 2 midfielders at the back, and then says we'll address it by not playing the fellas that are on the bench. We'll address it by signing other people in the summer.
Exactly.
So now that these players are looking, going, Vestergaard, Soyuncu, and probably the 2 lads that had to play centre back tonight are looking, going, what the fuck is this clown at?
Yeah.
And look, listen, we all know I have to caveat everything I say about Brendan Rodgers because I despise him, right? But come on, I'm not talking bullshit here. I'm not going over the top here. The carry on, the decisions he's making, the situations he's putting certain players in, and then the comments he's making off the back of it is absolutely pathetic.
We saw it last season. What happens when you consistently play players out of position? When we dropped Fabinho into centre back last season, yeah, he could do a job, but they will get exposed. Now, Armati wasn't a regular starter for Leicester anyway.
So if you're not a regular starter for Leicester in midfield, what the fuck are you doing?
No, he's a defender. Back? Yeah, but he was a defender anyway. But he was never a regular starter for them last year. He played he played some games.
I thought Armati was a defensive midfielder.
He played at right back when Pereira got injured. He played at centre back occasionally. He played in midfield as well. He's one of those utility players that can play pretty much anywhere. But Wolf Ndidi is, for me, in the top. If I'm Manchester United, I'm going to sign in him. If you can't bring in someone elite to be your holding centre mid, I think he's a very, very good. He's a very good central holding midfield player, and the fact that Rodgers took him out of that position, a position that against us you need, in order to put him at the back and then hung him out to dry at the end of it. And the thing is, they've been poor from set pieces all season. They've reverted from a zonal system to this man marking stuff. It won't be long before he throws Kolo Touré into the bus because he's the one who works with the defenders. And so Kolo's not getting it right. You know, and the common denominator, it's everyone else's fault apart from the manager. You know, any other club, the manager takes responsibility. With Rodgers, it's everyone else except me. And Rodgers that's just a trait.
Rodgers leaves Leicester in the summer. Players against announces Mega McCanyon. I'd fuck him out the door. If I'm the Leicester owner, I'm looking, going, unless he is being told, carry on wherever way you want, and behave wherever you want, and say wherever you want, and all these fucking little sleevey and fucking things he's saying, right? Mm-hmm. Unless he's being told that, I'm the Leicester owner and I'm looking, going, this is getting out of hand.
Yeah,
this is actually getting out of hand because we can't get rid of them all.
They're in danger now of not qualifying for Europe.
Yeah, but you can't get rid of them all, Kev.
No,
if you can't turn around and say to me, you can sell Soyuncu, Vestergaard, who's the really old fella that plays the back, Johnny Evans. Johnny Evans, right? Fofana as a long-term injury, but you can't say you're getting rid of them 3 centre-backs, right? Because you need a better profile of player. And people would say, well, Johnny Evans does well. Johnny Evans is getting injury after injury now at this stage.
Yeah, at his age, yeah.
And then you're looking, going, Tielemans, right? And then you're looking at other... He's not going to be allowed to sell 6 of them and be trusted to bring in 6 that are better. He's just not.
No, Rodgers is gone. I mean, he's the favourite now in the sack race for the Premier League, and Leicester, for all of the success that they've had, and they have relative success in the last 3 or 4 years in qualifying for Europe, they're not qualifying for Europe on the back of what they're doing this season, and for the type of players they want to attract, and being a top stepping stone club for players. To be a stepping stone club, you have to get the best out of these players that they bring in, improve them, and then you have to let them go. You have to sell them on. This is the first time that they've kept the players, and they haven't sold them on, and I don't think that's gone down well. And the problem is when you go to recruit next, well, you kept these players. You didn't let them go when they improved, and they're in danger of not being able to attract the next level of player that they want to attract. Because let's be honest, they are a selling club. They can invest all the money they like, but they are a selling club, and they need to be able to sell to buy to try to stay in the top 7 or 8. They can't do it by keeping players.
Yeah, but it's, I get what you're saying. I 100% get what you're saying, right? Like Jono says Soyuncu was overrated and stuff like that. But listen, Soyuncu a couple of seasons ago was being linked, like he'll never be at Leicester in 6 months' time. He'd be fucking bought up by anyone in the top 4. He was being rated as that good. I don't know how, even if you're allowing a fella to revamp in the summer, you're not allowing him to say that stuff, Kev.
No, you're not.
You're just not.
These are almost the comments of someone who wants out.
Who wants out, and someone says there it cost them $8 million to pay him off, right?
If they sack him, yes. If he walks of his own accord, no.
He's not walking of his own accord.
Exactly.
Brendan Rodgers isn't walking of his own accord. I'd be absolutely fucking
managers don't these days
anyway. Of his own accord. And you know, it's one of those where they'd be probably better off paying the money and getting rid of them, because then the players that you have there that are still really good players will probably turn around and go, or we have someone new we can play. Now, that's gone down badly at Leicester before, because it was a comment on here last night saying Vardy and Schmeichel run that dressing room. They wanted Claude Puel out and they wanted others out. But I just can't fucking believe that if that comment is true.
Leicester is still an attractive proposition for managers. You know,
they are, because
there are good managers out there.
Even though you consider them a selling club, right? They probably only sell one big one every year.
Yeah.
And they use all that money to invest if they can. You know,
exactly. They bring in decent
They usually come out. Look, Kante aside, Kante Mahrez aside, they've sold on players like Harry Maguire and Ben Chilwell, and they look strong without them.
As well.
They look strong without them at times. You know, the sort of way.
Yeah.
The loss of Fofana has been huge for him, says Sony. Yeah, it has, because he looks absolutely excellent. But anyway, enough about Leicester, because I want to finish off at Liverpool in the next couple of minutes. Salah was very involved. Great to see him back. Yeah. Before we do man of the match, and before we go on and have a quick look to what's to come ahead with Burnley. Oh, we're going past 200 likes as well. We're claiming to be happy now. We can sit back and have his cup of tea and biscuit. Luis Diaz, 4th start. Only his 2nd game, 4th start. 1st Premier League start. And I have to say, I loved every minute of it.
I did.
And there wasn't like outrageous stuff he done where you went, look, it's not like he turned up like Tino Espria and went fucking bananas. But he was just, like you said, neat, tidy, really sharpened the pass, movement. He seemed to be roaming. He was everywhere. And then right before he gets substituted, he throws a massive tackle in on the left wing before he goes off. And I was like, yes, that's absolutely brilliant. But really impressive, Kevin. And for someone that's played like a total of, you know, it's probably 90 minutes in total now. A bit more than that. For his new club. Even tonight, he looked, the space of 4 days, it looked like he was starting to really read people really well. Robertson in particular, I thought he'd done well down the left-hand side. And you could see there was lovely little touches off the different players at times. I think he was really impressive. He doesn't get an assist and he doesn't get a goal, but overall, it was really promising for me.
Yeah, his game was really good. He's physically strong. You know, he held off players and he was brave on the ball. He didn't mind taking it and having a run across the middle of midfield and bringing it into the centre and going out to the other side. He popped up on the right wing as well a couple of times. You know, he's confident, and that will only grow in time. You know, for what he showed, bear in mind he's had probably 2 or 3 training sessions, a couple of rondos with the lads. Wait until he goes in a pre-season and they tactically get into him. You know, and
when they drill him into trigger presses or pressing triggers and whatever it might be, then because like there's loads of comments coming here, I have to read them out, right? Because it would be fair and not unfair not to. Diaz is the South American terrier we've been missing, says own book. That's as good as Davey you will see from a player like Diaz without scoring, says Sam Tandy. Him and Robertson looked so good, understanding each other, says own Newell. Kev Ball says, and this is a good one, he loves the intensity. I think he does. I think he likes a bit of mayhem. It's almost like a recruitment team know exactly what they're doing, says Laszlo. Oh, shots fired. Cav Oldham says, Diaz surprised me how he could pick a pass. I thought he was all run and dribble, but he looks so composed. Diaz fit right in that side. That's the best compliment you can give him, says Clanker. Boom, 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 boom. I think that's about it on him for the moment. But overall, Kev, really,
really he looks like he can mix it with the physical fullbacks. Yeah, he does. And there'll be plenty of people who'll try it and who'll test him and who'll kick him and everything like that. But he's good players can play with each other irrespective of language barriers. You know, good players find a way. And him and Robbo, their link-up play was excellent. You know, the give and goes, the knowing where to be, knowing what space to take up. The pressing will come. You know, that will come in time. That's the difference you could see between him and Mane in that position tonight, where Mane will read the presses and read the way other people play. At the end of the day, he's coming up against players that he's never played against before as well. So that will all come with experience. But yeah, there's an awful lot to like about him. You know,
really was. I have to say, man of the match before we finish up.
It's Diogo Jota. It is Jota. The only one who come close to it was Virgil or Fabinho. You know, and there's an argument for the other two, but Jota, the 2 goals, the way he took the goals. The second goal we didn't even talk about. It was.
Oh, we didn't. No, we didn't. The brilliant assist by Matip.
Yeah, absolutely loved it.
Yeah,
but it was the best thing about that goal was he never looked at the goal once.
Yeah,
he looked at the penalty spot. And he knew where he was, and from there he just turned and shot. And Schmeichel should have done better. He got a decent hand to it, but the power that he hit it with, it was a deserved goal.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Jota man of the match. Fabinho and Virgil get an honourable mention for sure.
Yeah, Jota versus.
And in fairness, Robbo was pretty good as well.
Jota.
Everyone had a decent performance. There was nobody let themselves down. Nobody can come off that pitch and say, you know, I should have done this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
But yeah, those 3 for me were that bit better.
Yeah, 200 likes gone past it. That's the Klopp interview and doing bits, says Just. And he says Jota versus Salah for the Golden Boot. Exciting. Jota man of the match. VVD runs him close, and that's from Megan and Sony. Jota is fouled at 2.0, says Cav Oldham. Diaz is Mane / Suarez, he reckons. And,
let's not get too carried away. Let him just
evolve
into the. Let him play. Let him evolve.
One person will like the show. One person. Listen. I think it's the same person coming on every night and just unliking every show, because we always get one. There is a few that hit the unlike button by mistake and then hit the like button, but there's one person out there, the fucker. But I told you before. Leave it in the comments. Leave it in the comments afterwards. Sorry, I'm late. Yeah, we had the Northern Lights tonight, so we had to see that. What?
Wow, that is so cool.
The unlike is gone. The unlike is gone. It's gone. Someone made a mistake. Good. How can you make a mistake between a thumbs down, and a thumbs up? I don't know. But Alex, Jesus, tweet us a few of Northern Lights. I know loads of people into that. It looks amazing.
I love that stuff.
Yeah, it did look amazing.
Yeah, if you ever get pictures of that, Alex, just send it to the LFC DT Twitter account, and we'll share them out.
Absolutely. Somebody asked me earlier as well. Hold on, I have to find this. I can do this. Hold on. It was Clanker. He says, "Hello from Ohio, fellas. Up the Reds. Are you going to try you trying to come to Ohio to play golf this summer, Gav? We have some beautiful golf courses here. Mate, if I could get to Ohio and play golf, I would. If you have a spare room, I'll stay in it. Because I'm not fan.
Ohio,
you know
mate,
me.
plenty of water.
Yeah, there's no airs and
It's
graces to
hot.
me. I'll turn up with 40 smokes,
Yeah,
a bag
it's
of
hot
cans,
there,
and my
man.
golf clubs on my back, and I'll stay. I'll stay in
Yeah.
your bleeding backyard in a tent. It wouldn't bother me. So
Yeah, apparently it's Brendan who hit the unlike button.
3 of them have done it now. I think they're winding me up. I think there's actually people winding me up now.
Bad people,
Where what
man,
they do is
bad
they hit.
people.
Yeah, they hit the unlike button just to bug the shit out of me, and then they take it off. But listen, what can you do? We've 228 that are good, so that.
You're very
Owen asked, how did last night bet go? 55 points we ended up with on bet, mate. Yous ended up with, and the winning was 72. Effort. But it was really good to keep a track on it. I have to say. Effort. Alex says he'll send the pictures. Absolutely amazing from the front
nice
door.
One, Alex.
Cheers, looks the business. But look.
That's a good shout, actually. The Portuguese Robbie Keane, Diogo Jota. If you wanted a Fox in the Box comparison, Robbie Keane wouldn't be a bad shout.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know.
I know Keane. Robbie was always one of the. He's the one player that it sickens me that it never worked out for him with us, because when he was at Spurs, he's partnerships with Berbatov were really, really
and
good.
You know what? I think he might have had a chance at Liverpool, but Benitez never wanted him. And we were chasing a title, and he
just
still fucked him out after 6 months.
He did, yeah.
So it was one of those. But look, 2 goals from Jota, absolutely brilliant. I think you've given Jota man of the match. I'm going to go with Fabinho.
Yeah,
just the amount of interceptions he made, and just the way he protected us and allowed us to play, and you can see the difference from him and Henderson in that midfield when he plays. He just intercepts so much, Kevin. He just gets us moving and gets the right ball. And I thought he was really good at that tonight. And it really shut Leicester down to the point where they weren't even trying to get around him on the break, or trying to get at him, because they just knew he was probably too good. He wasn't the best on the ball, but the interceptions and stuff, just breaking stuff up, and cutbacks, and he was getting to them, and I just thought he was really good. So I'm gonna give it to him, because we can't just keep giving Jota man of the match every week. It's actually getting stupid. But anyway, that is it for us. Anything else before we go, Kev?
No, it's just work out what we're going to do tomorrow night. Probably going to be Super Bowl heavy. UFC, there's a big card on over the weekend. Premier League. Got to try and figure out a team as well. What we're going to do with.
Oh yes, I'm going to try. You're going to try BetMate as well.
Yeah,
again.
We're going to try and do something. But yeah, we're going to have a good show tomorrow night. There's plenty of stuff going on. Six Nations back, Ireland against France.
So you have Premier League, you have Six Nations, you have the Super Bowl, you have UFC, and there was something else you mentioned there. So there's loads of sports to go on.
There's loads of stuff going on. But yeah, in fairness, the Ireland-France game is huge, because that's the Six Nations for me.
Yeah,
that's the Six Nations decider in week 2.
Yeah. Fair enough.
That's a huge game for us.
Well, people need to tune into that tomorrow night at 10 p.m. I'll be back at 2 p.m. tomorrow, maybe to discuss this game a little bit more, maybe the reaction that came from it, and the boys will be back at 10. As I said, there'll be 2 shows on Sunday as well. People keep hitting the unlike button, Kev. It's starting to fucking bug the shit out of me. I might actually turn it off so I can't see it, because they're genuinely winding me up now. But as I said, if there's 3 people that don't like it, leave the comment in the... leave it in the comments after this show. If I don't see 3 there, I know it's 3 people just winding me up. That's how I'm going to measure from now on. But thanks to everyone that's watched. Thanks to everyone that liked, shared it, subscribed, whatever you've done. Don't forget, there's 40 shows a month on this channel, all for free, and you get them all across your podcast apps as well. And Féileacáin, don't forget, link in the description for the website and for the donate page. That will go over $2,000 tonight, because I've just received sponsorship money in now that will absolutely crush it over $2,000. So we're flying with that. And that's about it. We will talk to you soon. Liverpool 2, Leicester 0. We're still on the tails of City. 15 more wins, by the way. Over and out.